What is going on, my YouTube family? It is your boy Zary from the XMG, and I am back with a Raid Shadow Legends video. And in this video, I pull all my shards. I actually shot this video on Friday night. For some reason, the sound didn't work right. Whatever, so I'll be playing that in the background. I'm going to kind of go over what I was thinking in my head. And I pulled a couple different shards. I had 15 Ancients, 7 Voids, and 2 Sacreds. I figured, why the hell not? I really like the characters that were in here, and I'm going to kind of go over those in a minute. So we can see if it panned out in my favor. And a little sneak peek, this is why you save your shards for the 2 double events, the 2 times events. So yeah, let's jump into it. Alright, so here we are inside the game of Raid Shadow Legends, and the event has ended that I was pulling for. Right now we have the other 3 brand new characters coming into the game. Nerma, the Returned, pretty awesome looking character there. We have Little Miss Annie, kind of like Annabelle, recreated doll, pretty sweet there. And then we have the masked Fearmonger, who is the Jason-esque, kind of Halloween character. And, you get times 10 for Voids on Annie. Nerma is Ancient and Sacreds, and so is the Jason clone here of Masked Fearmonger. The ones I was pulling for had different characters in them. And the characters they had in there was Harvest Jack. I call him Pumpkin Jack all the time. Harvest Jack, any of these characters would have changed my account beyond belief because I have no legendaries. And free to play in Sep 4, I buy the $9.99 thing to get more XP. And, his A1, Harvest of Fear, attacks enemy 3 times. Each hit is a 25% chance of stealing a random debuff from a target. Then you can place Fear debuff for 1 turn if they have no active buffs. Chance to increase to 100% if all buffs were stolen from the target. Just huge. Then his Dream of Ashes, he attacks all enemies, placing block buffs on them for 2 turns. If the target is under Fear debuff, removes all increased attack buffs from the target and replaces them with a decreased attack. Removes all continuous heals, replaces them with poisons. Yeah. A3 ability, Lore of Terror, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a true Fear debuff for 1 turn. Places a 30% speed debuff, decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Decreases each target's turn meter by 15% if true Fear debuff is placed. Has a 75% chance of placing a sleep debuff for 1 turn if true Fear debuff is not placed. Then he has a passive, when attacked, decreases all durations of all buffs on the attacker by 1 turn. He is just amazing. The other legendary I was trying to go for, which is probably my least wanted out of all 4 of these, was Brackus the Shifter. He is a Skinwalker. PvP, he would make my PvP team pretty good, sitting in gold 2 right now. And the werewolf style Skinwalker brings innocent blood. A1 attacks an enemy 1 time, heals the champion for 15% of the damage inflicted. A2 Full Moon Rampage attacks 1 enemy 6 times. So for me, struggling to get through some Fire Knight, this could help me out pretty good there. The first hit is a 75% chance of placing Weaken debuff for 3 turns. Heals this champion for 25% of the damage inflicted. Heals this champion by 50% of the damage inflicted instead if the target is under True Fear debuff. But I would have loved him for PvP and then a 6 hit, even on a 5 turn cooldown. With Booked, you can get it down to 3. For Fire Knight, for me, who doesn't have a lot of double hitters, that would be awesome. Hunter's Hollow A3 ability places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 3 turns, then attacks 1 enemy 3 times. Each hit is a 50% chance of placing True Fear debuff for 1 turn. Has a 50% chance of placing a Fear debuff on 2 random enemies for 1 turn if True Fear debuff is placed. So he just would have been really solid for me. And, I'm going to start this game kind of like I did with Dragon Champions and Newbie. But I know everybody likes seeing shard pulls, so I went for that. The next one up, Madame Cyrus. She is like the Wicked Witch vibe. Man, oh man, I would love to get her. And she is just amazing. She can be used pretty much anywhere. Should be a legendary and an epic skin. Panic Spread attacks one enemy, 20% chance of placing a fear debuff for one turn. This chance increases to 30% if they are under one debuff, and its chance increases to 45% if they have two or more debuffs. Tricks and Treats attacks all enemies, has a 40% chance of stealing one random buff from each target, places block debuffs buffs on all allies for 2 turns, and if any buff is stolen, places True Fear debuff for 1 turn on enemies who have buffs stolen. Just a beast. Removes all buffs from enemies. Places a 50% decrease attack debuff and a 60% decrease defense debuff to all enemies for 2 turns. It's a 6-turn cooldown, but you can get it down to 4 when booked. And then Witch's Grace places a shield buff on this champion equal to 10% of their max HP at the start of each turn. When attacked while under a shield buff, has a 35% chance of placing a fear debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. Awesome. Then, Miscreated Monster. Night Revenant. Again, can be used dungeons, PvP. He would just change my account overall so much. A1 ability, Meaty Fists, attacks an enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 15% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Has a 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 1 turn if the stun debuff is placed. A2 ability, Monster Lightning, attacks all enemies. Has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Places a shield buff on all allies for 3 turns, equal to 25% of the damage inflicted. It's Alive, A3, places a 50% ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 3 turns. Heals this champion by 50% of their max HP and places a 15% continuous heal buff on this champion for 3 turns. Ugh, I want him. Spooky Groan is his passive, places a fear debuff on the attacker for 1 turn whenever an ally is attacked under an ally protection buff, so it plays into his A3 ability. And then he has an aura, 33% HP in arena battles. Now, okay. So, that is why I decided to pull. And we are going to jump over to where I pulled. Now, you might be able to see my head behind me, but yeah. So, here we go. I decided to do a 10 pop of my Ancients first. And, right. Judge, Cadaver. Gilcut is a book for me, so that was terrible. Tree Feller, Hexweaver's farmable. Grinner, freaking joke. That was just an awful, awful pull. Then I got I can't even say his name, but Jesus, that's terrible. Harris, terrible. Another Hexweaver. Wow. So I've pulled all fooder books to this point. Goral Brutebane. Maybe you could help my Dwarf Faction Wars. I don't even know how good he is. Mother Superior, another book for me. I use her for her speed aura. So let's go to our Void Shards and see if things get better. Centurion. Terrible. Steadfast Marshal. Okay. Help my Faction Wars team. Dilgal is a book for me. I think Dilgal's actually pretty good. He is a book, though. Hollow, no thank you. Bulwark, book for me. Another Centurion. Painsmith helps my faction war team out, so I'll take that for sure. Didn't mind the Painsmith right there. So that's what I got for Voids. A steaming pile of poo is what I got for Voids. Now we have 2 Sacreds. And the first Sacred is Karam. Clan Boss, but I don't really need him for my Clan Boss team. And Bonekeeper. So here we are, my account. I've been able to get 3 more Ancients back up into it. And, you know, just slowly making my way through this game. You know, but, you know, last time I had J-Gigs, my buddy J-Gigs pulled some shards for me. I got Basher out of there, I got Jingle Hunter out of there, and I got Sandlash Survivor, so that was pretty solid. Now, I was able to get Bonekeeper up to 40. I am working on getting Basher 6-star right now. But what I like about Bonekeeper, probably the best character I pulled, attacks an enemy 1 time, 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased debuff. I need a decreased defense champion for clan boss and dungeons and things like that, so she can help me out there. Attacks an enemy 1 time, deals 50% more critical damage, so you definitely want that crit rate to be high, and then attacks 1 enemy, places an extra hit if this attack is critical, fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% if this attack kills an enemy. So, and she's not even, you know, terribly good. Reviews okay, I guess, but she was probably the best one I pulled out of there. And, you know, I was able to get Ultimate Gallic up to 5 stars. Working on my Doom Priest, also pretty excited about my Doom Priest. So, you know, all in all, my account is coming along for being free to play. Nowhere near my buddy J-Gigs at all, who just pulls everything he wants. And I got some more stuff to do. Because the reason I pulled those shards is because there is an event running. And this is kind of, if somebody's not familiar with Raid Shadow Legends, this is how they do their events. It's a fragment event for Allegaius. Allegaius is a legendary support magic undead. And these are the events that are kind of running. We have a Dungeon Divers event going on now where you can get 10 fragments. Dungeon Divers event coming again on the 6th for 10 more fragments. Artifact Enhancement event, which I hit. I'll show you that. An Artifact Enhancement event again. So I got to start saving that silver. Summon Rush, Champion Training. Then we have the Dragon Tournament. Ice Golem, Spider, Champion Chase Tournament. Champion Training Tournament. Classic Arena Takedown and Classic Arena Takedown again. So that's kind of how they do it. And you go into your fragment summons, and I am 40 out of 100 for Allegaius. And when you get that, it kind of cracks as these like cement pieces kind of chip away. It's like Han Solo and Carbonite when you first start. You know, I missed out on those two. See, so you kind of start this way, and as you buy more and more, or earn more and more, they come down. And for the events here, so you can kind of see, if you were wondering, Dungeon Divers event, I need 3,000 points to get another 5 shards of him. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit that or not, but I have a lot to do. Champion Training, same thing. I need 8350 to hit that event, and I've been going okay at it. Pretty hard, actually, for 2 days, and I'm not even halfway there. So that is 2 days left. Don't know how much further we're going to get in that one. And then Summon Rush, because of those, I was able to hit these 2. And, you know, we have a 4-star chicken. So maybe we'll pop a couple more or save them for the champion chase. We'll see how this video plays out. And then in the tournaments here, we have a dragon tournament. And I was able to get the 5 shards there for running the dragon. And then I just stopped wasting my energy on there. Currently 17th. So, yeah, that's that. So just a quick look at Allegaius. Who we are going for. Allegaius, some people have said a woman, some people said a man. Kind of looks like a guy to me. But there's Allegaius, and what he brings to the table is Spirits of Spite. Attacks one enemy, has a 25% chance of placing a block cooldown skills debuff for 1 turn. The chance increases by 0.75% for every 1% of HP this champion loses. So that's an interesting mechanic for sure. Then A2, Dead Stop, attacks one enemy, puts the target skills on cooldown. If the enemy team has any duplicates of this target champion, they will also be put their skills on cooldown. So if you're fighting somebody in the arena who has the same, if they're running 2 Kales or 2 Elaines or whatever, or the faction wars, you see a lot of the same teams. That'll help you out there. And then attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of removing 2 random buffs, has a 75% chance of decreasing all enemies' turn meter by 20%, decreases enemy turn meter by a further 0.2% for every 1% of HP this champion loses. Passive ability prevents this champion's death. This one is called Spurned by Death. Then keeps them alive for 1 HP when hit by a fatal hit. If this skill prevents this champion's death, heals them by 10% of their max HP, fills their turn meter by 20%, and places a shield debuff on them equal to 30% of the max HP for 2 turns. Will prevent this champion's death if they are under a heal reduction debuff. So, pretty interesting kit, and it'll be fun for me to play around with. And my undead hordes, I have a pretty solid faction wars team. For me, I mean, obviously I'm not going too far yet into it, but definitely Allegaius would help me there quite a bit. So that's kind of what I got going on in my account, just kind of chipping away at some things. And we are going to pop these last 3 shards, hoping to get either Fearmonger or, what is it? Narima? The Returned. There it is. So, dumbest idea ever, but here we go. Rotting Mage. Bad. This guy. Laramere. And Tormentor. I got nothing. That's what I thought. But I'm going to leave it there. And this has been a Raid Shadow Legends video. If you're just finding me for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I do a Raid Shadow Legends video at least once a week, cover Dragon Champions, and dabble in some other games. And if everybody likes the Raid Shadow Legends videos, we will start making more of them on a weekly basis. So, thank you for everything. My XMG family members out there, you know I love you. See you in the next one. I'm out.